Chris here again with a quick tip this time, and this actually has one of these videos that I've done a bunch of where, even though it's motivated initially by how it applies to game development, it's kind of applicable to other areas of our life as well. Speaking of which, I've actually made a playlist now. See if I can put a button over here, specifically for these kind of videos, which I can say are maybe applicable to other areas of life. Anyway, the point today is that school often trains us on a way of thinking about errors that doesn't serve us well for game development, and maybe actually holds us back in all kinds of errors. Now, the school attitude towards errors, traditionally, and this is a empty tax form because it's April, but the way school teaches us about errors is really the same kind of way that the tax people want us to think about it, where you got to be really careful not to screw up, because if you put the wrong information here, somebody gets mad at you, you get in trouble, you're wasting someone else's time and or money, etc., etc., etc. The way that errors tend to come up in game development is, at the very least, as a new programmer, all the time you're getting errors everywhere in your code. You're getting red feedback from the compiler, from the transpiler, from the browser, script interpreter, wherever you're programming, from Unity, debug console log, whatever. You're getting errors, red marks, that at first, if you're not sort of accustomed to it, feels a bit like if you hand your paper in school and they give it back to you with red X's and red slashes and you get an F and whatever. And you can't think of it that way. You've got to just get used to the idea that that's part of programming, that that's part of making games, is doing those things, getting some feedback from the compiler, and then fixing it. And that's part of the process. And even though that there is referring to the programming type errors, the same kind of errors happen more invisibly in game design, where in the programming case, the compiler will actually tell you, this is wrong, this doesn't make any sense, I can't run past this line, whatever it is. But in the case of game design, you do some things and then find out this isn't as fun as I thought it'd be. This isn't as entertaining to my friends who I tested with. I'm not even liking this, and I made the thing. And the idea here is that just like those programming errors, isn't to think of this as, I did it wrong, I'm bad at it, I'm wasting someone's time, I should feel bad, I'm in trouble. None of that's the case. That is the process of design, is trying lots of those things to get a feel for what is working. Can I change this into something that's working more? Can I rework this somehow and then try it again and see if it's getting better or getting worse? And that is just the process of how we have to think about errors differently in the case of programming and design. Now, understandably, there's areas of life where if you're a surgeon, if you're an architect, if you're a bridge builder, there's all kinds of electrician, there's all kinds of lines of work where you probably shouldn't go about this attitude towards it. But certainly in the case of software design, in the case of programming games as opposed to, I don't know, military software, accounting software, satellites, guidance, communication systems, whatever. Games are a space where, whether you're doing programming or design, it's perfectly safe to make some mistakes. You're very unlikely to accidentally format your machine, destroy some hardware, whatever. To just try some stuff, embrace the fact you're going to be getting some pushback from the machine, or in the case of design, from your players, from your testers, from your peers, from yourself. And that to not feel like you've somehow done it wrong or done it badly because you're getting those errors, but just accept, again, that's part of the process at every step of the way. Whether it's code, whether it's design, for that matter, art or music, are still going to involve, you're going to do it, you're going to get some feedback from the machine or otherwise that it should be, that it's not quite there yet, and then the next step is to then try something slightly different. Not to quit, not to back away from it, not to feel bad, not to feel guilty, just to try something different. So anyway, that's it for today. Again, if you like these kind of videos where I kind of have some overlap between the kind of issues I wind up training game developers on that kind of overlap sometimes in other areas of our lives, I have a new playlist for those, and I'm going to try to share here when I'm trying to start to collect some of those videos together. So thanks for tuning in. I look forward to playing your games in the future. It's Chris Delion here, GameKeto.